Welcome to Better Sex, where you get the information and inspiration to create and enjoy your best possible sex life. Join your host, sex therapist Jessa Zimmerman, as she brings you expert guests, helpful tips, knowledge, and strategies to improve your intimate relationships. And now, your host, Jessa Zimmerman.
Hey, welcome back to the Better Sex Podcast. This is Jessa, and I am here having a wonderful day of interviewing fascinating people. God, I love this. I have so much fun doing this podcast. And I'm really appreciative that you have, sought me out and that you're tuned in and listening. I would love to hear from you. If you have questions, I don't know if you know this, but if you have questions for me, I do have a little, I guess they call it a widget on my website, bettersexpodcast.com, where you can record a question. I think you have like 3 minutes. You can make a recording, you can ask a question, and then I can address it on a podcast. So if something on your mind, if you've got feedback or questions or something like that, feel free to use the little speak pipe widget, because I really would like to hear from you. So, I remember my very first episode was about consent, right? And I talk about this some, the importance of having a no, because we can't trust our yes if we don't have a no. Like, we have to have the ability to have boundaries and take care of ourselves. Today's episode is like the flip of that. It's the importance of yes. And my guest, Pamela Madsen, who is the founder of Back to the Body, talks about how women especially are raised up, coached, rewarded for saying no, especially to ourselves. No, thank you. I don't need that. I can't take that much time or attention or whatever. And the importance of us actually uncovering our desires and finding our enthusiastic yes. So that's the topic today, this whole concept of yes, what needs to happen for us to safely explore that. And then we are going to talk about her workshops, these Back to the Body workshops that she offers specifically to facilitate this for people, especially women. So anyway, Pamela Madsen is my guest today, and I hope you find the conversation intriguing, interesting, maybe even inspiring for your own sex life. So thank you so much for being with me today.
It's fun and my pleasure.
Yeah, I appreciate it. I know you're a busy woman, so this is really a treat.
Well, thank you.
So the topic today being helping women find their yes. I did want to just start by, I guess what I would say, acknowledging the importance of no, right? Because part of my work in therapy is helping people even find that, right? But I was curious what you would have to say about the role of no, and do they need that before a yes, or, what are your thoughts about that?
Well, I can make it a Facebook status. It's complicated. I think what's true is that women are very well trained in no. We live restricted lives. I'm in my 50s. I probably have been on over 300 diets. So I've been trained to say no to food. Most women, many women, have been trained to say no to sex, to say no to spending on themselves, to giving themselves the best bite of whatever it is. We've been trained to give it away, to be in service, to be, that pleasing role. And we're rewarded for our no. We're rewarded for our ability to not need and to say no, thank you. And he can have it or she can have it. When you're talking about consent, yes, our no is very important.
Right.
To be able to understand what we want our yeses and what we don't want our nos. And that's why I say it's complicated, because there's lots of layers to know.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that's striking me as you're talking about is maybe women have been trained to say no to themselves. not
Absolutely.
not necessarily good at saying no to other people, right? Whether that's about consent or about really willingness, but that distinction is important, right?
It's very important. And so these are complicated. Yeses and nos are complicated.
I know, such simple little words, right? But
right, but they're very complicated and they're very multi-layered.
Yeah.
And so, when I speak about finding your yes, what it means really is how you're evaluating your no.
Okay.
Is your no around a belief system that you're not entitled or you shouldn't want or you're greedy? Are you even saying no inadvertently to your orgasm because you're frightened of taking too long or that there's too much attention? Where are we not offering ourselves the opportunity for yeses because we're so frightened of being judged?
Yeah.
Because we are so rewarded for our no's.
Right.
A good girl, say no thank you, wash your legs, be polite. You don't need that cookie. Say no thank you. Bake for other people. So it's complicated, Jessa, and how women feel their entitlement to pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, I hear this in my sex therapy practice all the time, right? Oh, I'm afraid it takes too long. Or if I speak up, my partner might feel bad. Heaven forbid they hurt feelings or something,
Right. Actually, their partner would probably be really excited.
Well, that's obviously part of the work I do with them is how crucial some selfishness is to great sex, and your partner's going to be thrilled to know what you want, and or at least largely. So, but I see it a lot of times where women, especially, kind of erase themselves out of the equation. Their pleasure, their involvement. Yeah,
absolutely. And it starts, I think, with an ability to feel safe in our own bodies.
Mm.
And, what's going on around us that we're feeling that we need to protect against. How can we reduce the hypervigilance? How can we, as women, find safety in this vessel that we call home? And once we can really feel safe here inside of us, then I think the issues of yeses and nos become much easier, because then we can actually do the work of, well, where is my yes coming from? Is it coming from a place of desire? Is it coming from a place of wanting? Is my yes coming from a place of need? I mean, sometimes we say yes out of need. Yes, I need that money. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I will accept your help in childcare, right? And then also, what is the origin of our no? Is the origin of our no the fear of taking up too much space? Is the origin of no societal?
Yeah.
Shaming.
Right. So you said it really starts with being able to be sort of safe in our bodies, right? What do we need to have that? I mean, what are the ways people don't feel safe, or what are, I guess, could you say a little bit more about what that takes for us to get to that point?
Sure. As you know, I run these retreats called Back to the Body. So that's what I do.
Yeah.
My team does. I'm not a sole engineer in this. So it takes a lot to get us really back in our bodies. I mean, people can tell you to love yourself through all the memes on Facebook that you want. And good luck with that.
Right.
What's true is that I, as a sex educator, as all the things that I am in the universe, every day I practice loving myself. Every day I practice loving my body, loving my desires, taking care of this vessel, right? And so the first thing that has to happen, again, is this, what we've learned is this feeling of a safe container. So is my surrounding safe? So to feel safe in my body, I have to actually physically feel safe. Okay. So if I'm in a war zone, I probably don't feel safe in my body, because at any moment there could be a bomb coming down on my, in my house. So my physical existence is not safe. So there are many parts of this world where it's pretty impossible to feel safe in our bodies. And even in the United States right now, many people are living in a state of red where they feel threatened on so many different levels. And so moving past all that, like the bigger, really big, 30,000 feet issues, why we may not feel safe. There becomes the safety of our very immediate physical surroundings, and hoping that people are living in a place where they have food to eat and housing and, those levels of safety.
Right.
So let's kind of bring it there.
Right.
Before you're not in a war zone.
Right. But
okay. And, you're not having like major discrimination because of gender or sexual orientation. And now we're back, you have food and you have a job. Now what? Now let's keep working out. Let's get closer into the weeds.
Yeah.
Living in an environment that supports you.
Yeah.
So is your partner supportive of you? Are your parents supportive of you? Your siblings? Are you ridiculed because of body shape or choices that you make in your life? So cleaning that up.
Right.
Cleaning up that immediate environment around you. We could do very little, Jessa, about the messages that we get from the media.
Right.
Right. About like what is the acceptable body and what it is to be a woman and all of that. If we can get to a place where we can stop being hypervigilant. So if a woman is sitting and talking with you for that 1 hour, does she feel safe? My understanding is that she does.
Right.
Feel safe. When they come to a retreat, they put in these very special environments for an immersion period of time where they actually can, wow, I'm safe here.
Let go of all that. Right.
Right. No one's attacking me. I'm being fed. Right. I'm being cared for.
Yeah.
I'm doing positive things around me. Then, only then, do we feel safer now to really come close to connecting with who we are and what our bodies are about and what we really, truly want. And really just sort of connecting to the physical self as much as the emotional self. It begins with what's going on around us. And then once we can clean it up, then we can really feel safe enough with ourselves or with a therapist, with a practitioner, to really get to what's going on with their own relationship with their body. And it's from there they can find their yes and identify their pleasure and their desires and what they truly want. Does that make any sense?
Yeah, it does. It does. So once, at one of your retreats, or if they've cleaned up their environment, or they're starting there, like what are the ways you help women access their desires, their wants, their pleasure? Like, I can't imagine it's just about, well, let me just think about this for a minute.
Actually, no.
Right.
No. So what I do in the world is different. To understand a little bit about me is, I started the world as a kindergarten teacher and I got married at the age of 19 and I'm still married 38 years later. And I became a fertility advocate and became very, very well known in the world of fertility, passed laws for fertility and, did all these things, testified before Congress and the FDA before I went on my own sexual journey towards coming back to my own body. And so, I'm not a new age, not that there's anything wrong with that. I can sometimes tease that I'm not a new age bindi wearing, mother goddess of the alternate realm. I'm a pretty much mainstream woman who found a way to heal my own issues with my own body. And I did it in what was much more considered untraditional now and becoming much more mainstream. I mean, oh my God, we were in Oprah. I mean, how more mainstream can you get? What you're doing in the world is okay. We're getting there. And so I work in the realm of somatic sex education, where we actually support women through touch. And so I work with trained practitioners, and women literally get on the table in a very safe container, and where women receive 5 days of somatic touch, one-way touch, lots of workshops, lots of download, big sisterhood, lots of support in this process. And so over these 5 days of touch, 8 days of a program, it's an immersion. Women actually very, very quickly just come back to their bodies, learn to identify their desires, find their yes, find their no. And, find language for, many women don't have language for their desires.
Right.
We may not have ever experienced appropriate touch. We may not have ever experienced, not just good touch, but Epicurean touch. Our practitioners, very well trained, they keep their clothes on. It's one touch.
Right.
So it's totally about who that woman is, what she's wanting to find, what is her desires. And women tend to stay with us a while, Jess. So they usually stay for, an average woman does between 3 and 5 retreats. And sometimes intensely within a year and a half or 2 years, and go off and change their lives. And, when we find our bodies, when we feel safe in our desires, when we truly know our yes, what that yes is, and take it, and even be insatiable about it. Oh, yeah, that's delicious. And the juice is running down our face. And then and while I'm eating it, can I have another slice? It's usually a period where I call it the feeding.
Yeah.
The first retreat, women are wow, and they can't consume enough. And then it's about helping them digest and integrate it. What you see, Jessa, is not just about sex.
Right.
It isn't. Even the core of all this is eroticism and sexuality.
Yeah.
Women take a hold of that puppy, when they really, they really can ride their own pony. And what you see is that marriage that they held on to for far too long, they feel safe to leave.
Yeah.
Or marriage they wanted, or that lover they wanted, they feel safe to take. Or that job.
Yeah.
Or a woman who's moving across the country right now to Maui, living her dreams. She never could have done it a year ago.
Yeah.
She didn't feel safe in her body. But once she was able to really claim all of herself, then she was able to claim all of herself.
Yeah, it's interesting because I talk about this and you think about it a lot. I work with couples in sex, right, in my therapy practice, and I feel like that is such a powerful place to intervene. So I'll get people that have been to marriage counseling and done, great work on communication or something, but it hasn't changed foundationally their sex life. But if you tackle the parts that need to be tackled to transform your sex life, your eroticism, your sensuality, that really does ripple out, right? Like you're saying, people,
It absolutely does. And sometimes you just have to work with one partner in your dyad there. Because we have lots of married women. I don't know, at least half of our women are married, and some quite long-term marriages. And they go home and and I'm glad that often they go home to support, and they go home to counselors and therapists who are friendly to our work and understand what we do. Because the woman will come home and the guy will be, holy crap, who's this Maserati?
Yeah.
And does she come with a user's manual?
Right.
And the fact is that the partner of the woman may not actually have to be any kind of a different lover. But because she now understands her body, their lovemaking will be completely different.
Right.
Because she's able to move in a different way. She knows what it feels like to be touched in a particular way, so she can guide it and seek it herself, which is, which is hugely exciting to the other partner.
Right.
Oh my God. She can open her legs. Look at that. She can ask for what you want. She's getting on her knees. Who thought that we could see her naked? Ever.
Yeah.
Except for hiding under the covers. She's dancing for me. She's dancing for herself.
Hey, this is Jess. I'm just taking a quick break, and I want to make sure you know about the guide I wrote about how to talk to your partner about sexual concerns. This comes up a lot in my practice. People have struggles, and it takes them so long to bring it up with their partner. They're afraid that that conversation is going to go badly. Their partner's going to be upset. The partner's going to be defensive, or they just don't know how to talk about sex and sexual problems. Common problem. So I wrote this guide that really helps you address this. It helps you prepare for the conversation, how to introduce the conversation, and then tips about how to actually get through the conversation so that you can change things with your partner as a team. If you are interested in this guide, you can find it at bettersexpodcast.com/guide. Again, bettersexpodcast.com/guide. Happy to send it to you.
So a woman making these changes are huge. And there's also a program for men, for straight men. I mean, my program is for straight or bisexual women. I've had some trans women come through our program. But they're generally speaking women with a more straight orientation. Most of my practitioners are men. Most of my women want to do this work. With a male practitioner, with the support of what we call female safe courts.
Okay.
Men who are there to support the process. But there is a new program in Canada, which is not far from you.
Right.
Had this conversation. The Apollo Project.
Huh.
And it's like my program, but for men.
Wow. So
we've had one couple where the woman has gone to Back to the Body and the man has gone to the Apollo Project.
Yeah.
And Cosmo Means, MENS, Cosmo Means runs that. And he's a colleague of mine. He works with my women, and then he said, you know what, we're going to do this for guys. And I love that.
Yeah.
Working with men because, A, wouldn't it be great if everybody did all of it? And B, maybe the woman doesn't want to, and the same thing would go for the man. If the man can learn how to speak, and can come back to his body, because we have this is not just gender. This is across the board to have these things available. Yeah. I think is beautiful and revolutionary. And I love that it's becoming mainstream, that it's becoming studied. I can't talk too much about it, but preliminary results of a study of this work that used our retreats was released at ASEC. But there are 2 papers coming out around. And, the results are qualifiable. Women come out of these programs being able to find the yes, to find their no, to understand their consent, to speak their desire, have a better body image, have better understanding of their arousal, have better understanding of their orgasm, have a healing of their relationship with other women, a heal sisterhood. Yeah. Because, we have a lot of competition between women. Right. And in this environment, they heal that, which I think was an extraordinary secondary gain. Yeah.
So if women come to your retreats, is part of it preparing them to, if they're partnered, to go home and how they're going to communicate this or what they're going to do? Or, how are they going to carry it from the safe container of the retreat to real life at home with their actual partner?
Now I'm going to hit that. It's complicated again.
Yeah.
So I always tell women when they start out that it's back to the body, not back to your partner. Okay. So we're really focused on them and their healing process. And not on their couple. They're not on their marriage or their lovership or their boyfriend or girlfriend at home. And we actually ask them to disconnect from home.
Right.
While they're there. I think partners need to know that they're safe. That this isn't about going to some orgy. Okay, that practitioners are not, that this is a profession, that these are adults with certifications and, I was about to say college degrees as if that means anything. These are well-educated practitioners.
Yeah. Right.
Who have homes and children and wives and lovers. And if they want to keep their jobs, there's never any kind of romantic involvement with our clientele.
Right.
And, that there's a pre-meeting. So the woman gets to not just talk with me, but gets to meet their practitioner. There's a group Zoom meeting where everybody meets everybody. And so that the safe container we create for the person going is actually the safe container that we're creating for the partner at home.
Mm.
That this isn't something other than what it appears to be, which is a healing mind, body, sensuality retreat for women. That's what it is.
Yeah.
The practitioner isn't going to, want to get it on with their woman. That's not what's happening here. Everybody, they keep their pants on.
Yeah.
Women are not encouraged to touch the men, except for, hugs and human contact. This isn't partner engagement work.
Right.
This isn't surrogate partner therapy.
Yeah.
This is one-way touch.
Right.
All about helping the partner speak. So how is this going to, the woman on the table speak? So how this will translate at home is that hopefully when she's ready, she'll share what she's learned about herself with her partner, and hopefully that will enrich themselves.
Yeah.
I think the biggest thing for partners is to be open and not threaten.
Right.
And if you're stopping your partner from doing something like this, basically you're saying no to their evolution.
Right.
And a woman who is kept on the shelf we don't have good shelf life.
I guess the way it strikes me is, if the whole message is this healing, it's back to the body, that's something a woman can do unilaterally. So even though when she goes back and she's back in the same old environment, if it's unsafe, that's one thing. She maybe won't stay, right? If the partner doesn't get on board, but nobody can take this from her either.
No.
Right.
No.
Once you have the access, it's yours.
And she may make changes, and that's scary.
Yeah.
She may change jobs. She may have new boundaries.
Yeah.
She may say no to babysitting somebody else's children or whatever it is.
Right.
Our women are cross-generational. We have had women as young as 24, which is about as young as I'll take them, to 93.
Wow.
And all like at one retreat.
Yeah.
You say, we put them in a row and you'll hear 20s, 30s, 40s, 50s, 60s, 70s, 80s. And true confessions, the 93-year-old was my mother. She just came to our retreat in Maui.
Wow.
And that was, people can see the interview on YouTube on our channel. It's amazing to hear somebody say, if I kept this boxed up and boxed down for 40 years and I was orgasmic on my first session, my mother was ejaculating.
Wow.
At 93. And she said, everything we're taught is such bullshit about a woman's body. And we're fed a bill of goods. And if I can do this, then, there's no reason that nobody else should be doing this out there.
Right.
And she was without a partner for 40 years. And, Eros is ageless.
Yeah.
She's alive in all of us. She just needs a welcome mat.
Would you speak, I mean, I think in some ways you've addressed this, but the importance of this being somatic touch work, that this is not just discussion or reflection or journaling or, speak to the importance of the somatic part of this, because I'm imagining there are listeners who are, some people are probably excited about this whole idea. Other ones might just be, you go where and you do what?
I get it. Yeah, you go wherever you like because we have lots of locations.
Right.
Everything from New Orleans this October, we'll be in Scotland in November. And so back in Santa Fe and Maui. So you go to the website, you'll see lots of locations. The body holds so much that we don't understand and that we don't study. What's true is that we don't study pleasure. We don't really study disease.
Yeah.
We don't, my mom had a lot of problems with arthritis, and she said, that she didn't know if it was the air in Maui or the sessions, but she came home, she wasn't in pain. She was moving differently. So touch, being able to relax into our bodies, to receive pleasure. I mean, women don't get 90 minutes of pleasure in their lives. We don't get to feel what it's like to relax into our bodies for 90 minutes of full body touch. We are told to be satisfied with a certain pleasure ceiling. So we may be orgasmic, we may not be orgasmic. We don't know about our arousal. We think if we are lubricated, we're aroused, and then the guy can penetrate us. I mean, we're the victim of so much premature penetration.
Yeah.
And so what if that's off the table and you're beginning without a course, right? It's all just about the outside of our bodies and the pleasure that can be found in touch and the release that happens when we're not tying touch to our relationship.
Mm-hmm.
So what if touch is a holistic healing tool? And it's not touch to the bills or what he said to the kids or whatever it is, right?
Yeah.
Get out of the relationship box. So it can simply be about what I need to feel in my body. What can I learn about my body? People release trauma. They release trauma. They heal issues with body acceptance that you really can't just talk about.
Yeah.
I like combining all of it. So we have a psychologist who travels with us at most of our retreats, not at all of them, but at most of our retreats. And I'm not a therapist, but I'm a female advocate, and we have well-trained people who've been just doing this work for a very long time. So yes, we talk. And yes, there's touch. And, again, I hope that when people go home that they have the sisterhood of women that will travel with them, but also they can go back with trained people like you to continue to process this work.
Right.
They're two sides of a coin. And the more sex therapists we have working with somatic sex educators, the more healing we're going to have.
Right.
This is complicated stuff. And it's hard to talk about and teach about what feels good until you feel what feels good.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like trying to describe to somebody who's only eaten hamburgers what Thai food is like.
Yeah. Yeah.
You gotta try it. Vocabulary.
Right. You got to have the experience so you can respond to it. Right.
Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
So we are somatic practitioners.
Yeah. Well, cool. Would you just say a word about where people can learn more about you, learn more about the workshops? Like how do they access you if they're intrigued by this?
Sure. Well, if they go to backtothebody.org, click on that newsletter link, opt in for all the free stuff because there's some really delicious free materials there. And they can follow me on Facebook. I'm verified. So they look for Pamela Madsen with a blue check.
Yeah.
Facebook thinks I'm somebody. And they can also go on Instagram at the Pamela Madsen because there are other Pamela Madsens who took it before me. But backtothebody.org, and we have members of the team who are available to talk with them, call the phone number that's on the website, get a consultation, or just say, pick up the phone and call, and Christy or Stephanie Joe will answer. And, mainstream women are doing this. I've got teachers and lawyers and people in the Marine Corps and wives and mothers. So you will meet women just like you.
Great. I'll put those links in the show notes too, so people have easy access. So
I appreciate it.
Yeah.
You've been listening to Better Sex. Please visit our website, bettersexpodcast.com, for show notes and additional episodes.
And that's a wrap for today. I really hope you enjoyed the episode. If you are enjoying the podcast, if some of this material resonates with you and you would like to make a difference and make sure that this keeps coming out in the world once a week, ongoing, there are a couple things you could do to show your appreciation. The first would be to go to iTunes and rate and review the show. That really helps us be found by new listeners when you review the show on iTunes. You can find a link at bettersexpodcast.com/iTunes. The other thing I want to invite you to consider is becoming a Patreon. For a small monthly pledge, you get some benefits. So for $2 a month, you get advance access to every single episode. For $5 a month, you get a chapter of my upcoming new book. And for $10 a month, I host quarterly get-to-know-you and question-and-answer chats over the web, and you get invited to that. I would love to have your membership in that, become part of the Better Sex family. You can find a link at bettersexpodcast.com/Patreon, which is Patreon. Again, thanks for listening. I'm glad you're here. Feel free to comment, ask questions, get in touch. I'd love to hear from listeners. Thanks.